This is football prime time. Live from the Primetime Radio studios. I am your host, Sam Wu, here with Billy Dean and his little brother, A.J.
Just a little brother, that's all you are.
Yeah,
he's really not little. He's actually kind of big.
Well,
compared to you, me, it's
you're a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But
broader.
But
A tad bit. I mean, maybe like 10 pounds.
Broader.
I mean, we're not.
I'm saying you're like broader and slightly taller than me.
This is football players. And you need big guys. We need big guys. We need. I
was an offensive tackle, and AJ was the center. Like we had a 2/5 of an offensive line.
I was more of the nose guard.
Really, well, yeah, you were a center. You were the center
for a little bit.
I remember that.
All right,
coaching you, I remember that. So,
true story.
Not my fault. I was a pudgy kid.
I never played football, but I was on the elite fat line, FATT, at the rink.
I like that.
At the rink. Yeah,
that is pretty fantastic. Well, it's funny. So, and Steve, obviously with Steven Schwim, my two cohorts with Hockey on Tap, they're telling a story. It was me, and then it was Steve. It was our buddy JJ, and it was I think Schwim. It was someone else that was tiny, and it was like one of those things is not like the other, and it's me, this big monster, and these little three small guys, and it was just very funny. So I'm pretty sure I could have stuffed all three of them in my jersey together. So good stuff. But boys, I mean, football week 1 over. It's great to see football back, obviously, since the Thursday night game, which, we did the preview for, Bucks coming out, and Dallas actually, I thought, played pretty well. So I'll give them a little credence, but Bucks obviously just look like a train. And then the Sunday slate, which is so much fun, just getting ready from at 12 o'clock, watching pregame, and then 1 o'clock games hit you and you're just smacked with football. You go to that 4 o'clock slate, and then the night game, and then all the way to Monday Night Football where, the Ravens, surprising loss to the Raiders, but, just football in general, just swarming at you. Today, another big game. It's just it's one of those things where, you love to see football and you love to have it back and, and going for you. And I mean, I'm really excited to be, to be talking with you guys, and obviously, got to look forward to football and everything it has. Tonight with the Giants and Washington football team, which I'm sure Sam will, if Sam wants to quickly touch base on his and New York Giants versus WFT, a battle of 0-1 teams. Taylor Heineke coming in for the injured Ryan Fitzpatrick, who had a hip subflexor or subluxation. Sorry.
Do you know
so
what that
he
is,
might
Bill?
be up for a while. Yeah, it's where his hip goes into his socket even more. That's what I heard, because the way he went, his knee landed into the dirt, and it just pushed his hip up into his socket.
Yeah, apparently it's kind of like a dislocation in a way. I mean, it's not as severe, but it's kind of on the same lines, which is crazy. So I mean, from that tackle, you wouldn't have thought, but
yeah, I mean, he was a little. He got slow getting up, right? I remember watching the play. He got slow getting up, and then you turn around and he just lays back down because he was hurting. And Heineke comes in, he whacks him on the head. Good job, go get him. That Washington football team. I know Taylor Heineke had a pretty decent playoff game. He looked pretty good, but I mean that's a severe blow to a team that had playoff aspirations. And I know that. Oh, and I have the stat somewhere, and I was looking at it. It was something that. Oh, it was the QBs for. There was something about Washington football team and how they have had 30 different starters and 31 different starters in 29 years, and it was saying that Terry McLaurin has played in 30 games and he's had 7 different starting quarterbacks, and this guy's a beast too. Terry McLaurin is awesome. And now he has another starting point. I mean, Taylor Heineke's started with him already, but he just keeps getting new guys, and he's continually treading out numbers. But on the other side of the Giants, Saquon gets more carries in this game, which, it's a defense struggle to the max. Let's see. I don't know. My prediction is going to be Washington football team. I'm sorry, Sam, but, I just think that both these teams, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be fun to watch.
So I got a quick stat for you, especially for Sam. I'm sure he'll love this one. So Daniel Jones as a starter against the Washington football team is 4-0. Primetime he is 0-5.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah,
which one gives?
apparently the Giants are they've won 5 in a row overall, and they're looking to make it 6. But yeah, I mean, Primetime versus Washington football team, who wins? That's
How are you feeling about
that.
it, Sam?
The primetime stuff, I'm not that concerned about. I'd be more concerned about if you have the other team has your number or vice versa. I don't know. I don't know. But what am noticing is Daniel Jones has a lot of the tools like he did at Duke, wide receivers dropping the ball, and somehow the same thing is happening with the New York Football Giants. So that tells me this is the Dave Brown syndrome that I was fearing when they drafted him. Duke, tall guy, all the athletic skills, has a high football IQ, but just an average quarterback. That is a concern of mine, a big concern of mine.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that we saw last week too. With can't hold on to the ball. He had one fumble. I think he had 2 fumbles total, but one that actually he lost. It's also, I feel like for that team. I mean, obviously having Saquon back healthy and actually playing all the snaps, not being on a snap count, is helpful for that team. But all he has to be is a game manager, a Kirk Cousins. And I know you don't want to necessarily hear that. You want to have that quarterback, like Peyton Manning, an Aaron Rodgers, a Tom Brady that can win you the game. But you have that defense now that is, a great defense, and you just don't give them any breaks or any chance to catch their breath. When you're turning over the ball. So I think for both teams, this is a must-win game. 'Cause looking ahead at their
must-win.
So I only say that because their next 7 or 8 games they're all teams that should blow out both the Washington football team and the Giants that they're playing. So you're going 0-2. Both teams heading into some tough matchups, or you have some momentum. So that's why I say it's a must win just for the season.
This is what I think. After last game, the New York Giants, they did drive the ball down the field. It's all about the execution and closing it down in the red zone. You can't have turnovers. When Saquon Barkley was still on his feet, the offensive line just pushing him, the crowd going nuts. You want to eat some wings and steak because that was smash mouth football. It was red meat. And what does Daniel Jones do? He fumbled it. Just tuck it in.
Fumbleitis.
Momentum is everything. That's the part that Daniel Jones frustrates me. He's got all the tools. I like him. He's a good man. He's a good leader, but he can't close it. And that's what and it's now becoming a habitual habit. The defense, I'm a little concerned about, but I'll give them to week 6 to work things out. I have trust in Graham doing that, but their defense is a little disarray. But the Giants' offense has to get it over the goal line instead of interceptions, fumbles, miscommunication, momentum changes, and that was the big difference last Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I definitely think that defense comes together. They gave up around 250 total yards or passing yards, something like that. I think the big thing was the rushing yards they gave to Melvin Gordon was pretty big too.
101.
But I do think that defense comes together. And that offense I think is good too. It just, like you said, it's just the turnovers. That's the one thing you have to cap.
So right, I mean, I know the offense has some pieces, right? Barkley is going to get better. He only had 26 rushing yards, I think, last game. I think he had a couple receptions, but I mean, Shepard obviously showing you that he's one of the go-tos for Daniel Jones. What do you have? 7 receptions for like a touchdown and 100-something yards. Obviously, if Jones keeps fumbling, this team's going to go downhill real fast. And just his proneness for turnovers is something that makes Giants fans quiver. But I mean, looking at the team they're playing, right? Washington loses to the Chargers. Tough loss. They lose their quarterback. Heineke comes in. They're going to get a little bit of a boost on that. We'll see. Antonio Gibson running the ball was really good. McLaurin, that amazing catch down the sideline. It was another, catch of the year candidate.
Insane.
Logan Thomas was in the mix. With the defense, them keeping putting pressure on the QB and stuff. Last week they had the interception, 2 sacks, the forced fumble. The Giants' offensive line is terrible, real bad. I mean, them and the Jets might be the 2 worst in the NFL right now. And, Andrew Thomas has got to get his head out of his, rear end because Clowney, not Clowney, I can't believe I said Clowney. That defensive line led by, one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL is going to slaughter this offensive line if they don't get, better schemes and, leaving a running back into chip or a tight end on the line because, they have the guys inside with Allen and they have guys outside, and it's really scary. It's a scary threat against a team that really needs to protect their quarterback.
Yeah. So the reason why I said it is a must win for the Giants and for Washington. I'll get to Washington's schedule after this real quick, but after this they had the Falcons, which the Giants should win. I would think. Then they have the Saints, Cowboys, which looked impressive, obviously against Tampa Bay. Rams. Then they have the Panthers, which I feel is a flip of the coin.
They could go 1-5 in that first 6.
Yeah, but then they have the Chiefs, Raiders, Bucks too. So not.
I mean, they're looking at maybe 2-9 in the first 11. That's a scary schedule. Well, how did the Giants get so screwed with scheduling? Jeez, that's bad.
So I'm pulling up Washington's right now. So after the Giants, they have the Bills. Then they have the Falcons.
Yeah.
Then they have Saints, Chiefs, Packers, Broncos, Bucks. So not a good schedule
I feel
for them
better
either.
about Washington because of their defense. I mean, the Giants' defense is not that good. I mean, Chase Young is ridiculous. True. Obviously, Payne and Allen on the interior, and then Montez Sweat on that other side. Their linebackers, we'll see about, Jamin Davis. Bostic's obviously a pro. Cole Holcomb. They have some decent corners. But, I mean, that Washington football team defense led up by their line, they can really disrupt any game. And it doesn't, you saw the Giants in the Super Bowls with Tom Brady just getting pass rush on him, and that's what really won them the game. This is a team that has the pass rush, right? They have the horses that can get to the quarterback. And it's something that, I feel better about Washington than I do about the Giants. I just really think that the Giants need to really get their protection scheme down better because, they're going to go into some of these games and get murdered because they can't block block for their quarterback.
Yeah.
Sam, you got anything? Well, sorry, Jay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sam, if you want to close out the Giants.
Sam, I don't know if you have anything. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I'm not expecting the Giants. By record, it should be a must-win. They have to win if they want to stay afloat because of that schedule. But in my mind, I'm more looking at can they get it together by week 6 as a team. I just think there's just too many loose ends that need to be fixed, tweaked, and that offensive line. What I do like about that offensive line is that they are playing with their comrades. That Shane Lemieux and Will Hernandez pushing the other team around when you mess with Daniel Jones, when that somewhat late hit. That's what I like to see them come together because that's really a prerequisite of a good offensive line is when they're playing for each other. It's just a matter of getting your reps in.
Shane Lemieux now out on injured reserve, so that kind of stinks. But Gates will come in as that left guard. Billy Price, I think, is going to now fill in as the center. It's just that's another blow to a line that didn't really need it. Will Hernandez, needs to do a little better. You have Solder in there, Matt Pertz on the bench. this team really needs to get that offensive line better, and I think that's why Gettleman's going to be gone after the end of this year. But all right, so let's just talk really quickly. Go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
I'll say. So, do you want to talk about injuries? Do you want to stay on the
let's do injuries first.
New York market. All right, perfect.
Actually, no. Screw it. We're gonna go right into the Jets because that's what everyone comes here to talk about.
Let's get it over with, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. Give the recap, and then I'll fill in with my unhappiness.
Yeah, I mean, so the first half I think was just a total disaster for the Jets.
Yep.
Giving up 3 sacks. I mean, they gave up 6 sacks total, 3 in the first half, 3 in the last half. I think offensively they looked terrible. Wilson was running for his life. Defensively, I don't think they had any, chance. So second half, I feel like it was a turnaround for them. Not saying it was great, but I definitely saw some turnaround. Wilson I thought looked more promising, I should say, in that second half. Corey Davis, with the 2 touchdowns. I definitely would have liked to see a little bit more running. Their running was nowhere. I think they had
under
like
50
40 yards
for the game.
Yes,
they had under 50 for the game. How is that possible?
Yeah, only 45 rushing yards, which is sad. I mean, I don't know.
Now you see me stewing over here because it's frustrating. They couldn't protect for the freaking quarterback. You spend a second overall pick on a kid, and Mekhi Becton, who you expect him to be, Pro Bowl Jonathan Ogden level left tackle. I'm not going to say he's injury prone because anybody can kind of get rolled up like that. It's the offensive line. It's tough to be in the trenches. Guys are always falling all over the place. That's going to happen, right? But you need people to stay on the field and get better. And Becton, I have not seen that. Vera Tucker, he's a rookie, first game. He did okay. I mean, I don't think he was terrible. I don't think he was very good. Center, Connor McGovern, sure. But that right side, I don't know what they see in George Fant. He stinks. He's terrible. And he's a good swing tackle because he can be a backup. Mm-hmm. And now he's going to be your starting left tackle because Becton's out for a little while. But Morgan Moses should have started that game. I'm not saying he played like an all-pro, but he was definitely better at the right tackle than George Fant. It's just I don't understand how this team continually has the same issues. And I know it's game 1, and I'm already losing it. And it's going to be a great season if this continues this way. But you just want to see some promise. And the first half of that game was same old Jets.
Awful.
And it was just miserable. Yeah. You're watching, you're like, why am I watching this freaking team continue to screw around and just be not even mediocre? They're just terrible. And obviously the only other team that's worse is the Jaguars, which we'll get into that in a little bit. But, it just continually happens. They can't run the ball. Wilson's running for his life, and that's not what you want from your first, your franchise guy. And then obviously you see Sam Darnold, and he has his career, and a half for yards at 260 something. He throws a beautiful pass to Robbie Anderson. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Moore and him looked great. Him and McCaffrey with the check down. Obviously the Jets have no one the caliber of Christian McCaffrey. So that helps him out, tremendously, but just, there's got to be, he's sacked 6 times. You got to give this guy protection. And I know they have Keenan Cole, and I know they have Jamison Crowder coming back right now for this next game, but it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and it's not fun, man. It really isn't. It just sucks.
I hope they kind of learn from this that, I would think they already know that the offensive line sucks. So they have to scheme better, protect him better, have him roll out, have him screen passes, something to give him a little bit better protection.
Short game. Yeah.
Play that smart. Who cares? It's season 1 for Wilson. If this kid is what we hope for him to be, I'm looking at the longevity of his career. I don't want to, him to be another Sam Darnold for us, another Mark Sanchez. Yeah. List goes on and on.
And on the coach, right? I thought Saleh did a pretty decent job. I know that he's, first timer. He's going to have his ups and downs. He's going to have mistakes. Overall, I don't think it was terrible. Their defense played pretty decent, even though their corners are atrocious. Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur, No, wait, which one do we have?
Mike.
We have which?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike. All right, I was right. Michael Ford, he did okay job calling. I think he was nervous. Maybe he didn't have his best game. That kind of led to a lot of mistakes and issues. But you look at Tom Brady, or not? Sorry, look at Tom Brady. You look at Bill Belichick, and he has a rookie quarterback. And I know the team's better. I know that the Patriots are a much better team. But Mac Jones looks good in his debut. He knows he plays to his strengths. He does all these things to make his quarterback stand out. His 281 yards passing, the one touchdown, his two favorite targets being Aguilar and James White. So he has the prime receiver that he knows he can trust and throw to. And I see that a little bit with Zach Wilson and Corey Davis, obviously, two touchdowns. But he has James White. He has the guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. The Jets did not have that last game. And I'm not saying that, James White is Christian McCaffrey, but the point is that they put themselves in better position to have their quarterback succeed. And that's where you, as a Jet fan, you want to see that just everybody's on the same page. I'll do check downs, or I'll do quick little slants, get this ball out of this guy's hands, because I don't want him to get messed up from a big hit or just seeing ghosts like Sam did 2 years ago.
Yep.
Like, it's just, oh man, god damn it.
Yeah, hopefully that second
it's
half.
week 1 and I'm already losing it here. Like, I don't know what to do. It's so frustrating being a Jet fan. You see the same things over and over, and you figure that the new coaching change, like you would see different things and be like,
Something
oh, that's cool, that's new. No, it doesn't freaking change because they're wearing the stupid green jersey. Oh my god.
Well, I will say though that second half was a little bit more promising. The defense only holding them to the field goal.
It was.
Them getting 2
touchdowns
and having the extra point. Yeah, so better second half. Hopefully that.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
What?
No, so Braidman, right, gets hurt, and their kicker, who has a monster leg, is booting punts like crazy. He looked really good. He's directional punting. He was the MVP of the team. He got awesome. Matt Amendola. I mean,
yeah,
there we go, MVP.
Like 9 or 10 punts. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
He was killing it. His first one was bad. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then they bring the ball back, and because there's a penalty, and he re-kicks it. It was terrible. And I was like, we're in trouble. And then the next 5 or 6 punts, he's directional punting right out of not out of the end zone, but like pretty much 10, 15 yard line. And I'm like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah, I had the Jets on my computer, and then I had kind of red zone up on the big screen. So I was watching both, but missed once they were punting. I wasn't really watching as much. So I think we both agree that the Patriots here are gonna probably wipe the floor with the Jets. Hopefully it's competitive. Hopefully they can.
Go ahead, sorry, buddy. No, I was just say Patriots are -4. I don't know how that's possible. They should be like, -10 or 9. But battle of rookie quarterbacks, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, comes down to which quarterback can be more efficient. I mean, Wilson completed 54% of his passes, but took like 15 sacks, and it was 6. But Jones completing 74%, took the 1 sack. I mean, Patriots win this, and I think it's by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think the big thing is going to be the turnovers. The Patriots and their running backs seem to have turnover problems. So we'll see. All right, so you want to run down the list of games? Do you want to recap
let's do the injuries real fast. So you go through the injuries.
So there were, obviously, we talked about Ryan Fitzpatrick with the basically like a dislocated hip. Jerry Jeudy out with the high ankle sprain. He's out for I think
that was
4 or
bad
5
too.
weeks. Yeah,
Judy's injury looks scary.
Which is nice to hear that it's not as bad as what people thought it was going to be or how it looked. Raheem Mostert, one of my favorite guys from Purdue, can't seem to stay healthy.
I feel so bad.
Some glimmer of hope that he was going to be, playing, after like
6 weeks,
week 7 or 8. Yeah, but then he goes on Twitter saying he's going to get surgery, which is smart for himself, especially because this is his last year. Get healthy,
he's a free agent,
try and get on another team. So he's a great player when he's on the field. Just if he can stay healthy.
Jason
what a waste
of a first round pick.
Yeah, Jason Verrett with the ACL.
Yeah,
Jedrick Willis with an ankle injury. Obviously, we talked about Mekhi Becton with the knee.
Wills is a big hit for the Browns because that offensive line needs the help, and that's a tough one to have. I know he wasn't one of the better ones last year, the rookie tackles, but that's a big hit.
Brandon Mann with a knee injury. Jeff Okudah with a
number 3
one.
overall pick, Detroit. Yeah, cornerback. That's a tough one too.
Trent Brown with a knee injury. Brian Bulaga back. Marshawn Lattimore with his thumb. Jason Peters with a leg injury. Evan Ingram, who I think was out last week too.
He's out. He's out this game with the calf.
This week with the calf. Saquon Barkley is in. I know he was questionable before. Joe McCoy with a knee injury, and then OBJ again already rolled out for week 2.
Yep.
So we'll see if he can come back kind of on a next week or whatever. But those are just some of the injuries, the big ones.
Yeah, it was a tough week. Obviously, guys getting blitzkrieg, but I was gonna say, and I'm trying to find where I had this, but I think. So we're talking about. So the next bit of news, right? It was Urban Meyer, USC, and I was looking at. Obviously USC fires Clay Helton. Immediately a bunch of guys' names come out. You have Franklin from Penn State. I saw Eric Bieniemy from the Chargers, which would be pretty interesting. They offense and USC. You think of the high flyers, and then good old Urban Meyer's name comes up, and you immediately think of Bobby Petrino and the Falcons. Even a little bit of Nick Saban when he went to the Dolphins, and the next year he takes the Bama job. I mean, we know a Jaguars fan, and he is hoping and praying that this comes true. He'll take it, mid-season. He'll take it whatever, because Jaguars fans are very upset with Urban. I mean, that was a terrible game for the Jaguars. The fact that you can't have your team ready for, and I know Texans have a bunch of pros, and they have vets and guys that really care about their job and their next job after this, because they know that the Texans is a tire fire. But he just had such a terrible game.
Yeah, you can't tell me though that the Jaguars don't have just as many vets, on that team too.
No, but I mean, just like his team was not prepared. You could just clearly see that his team was so off, and they didn't protect. I think Lawrence was okay. He threw the 3 picks, but I mean, he looked like a number 1 overall pick. He had some talent, but just. You can't have your rook's first game be that kind of a destruction. And yeah, I mean, that was his first regular season loss in his career from high school all the way to college. And I know everyone's throwing out that stat too. It's still impressive. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Urban to USC would be fantastic. There's a couple other names that have came up, but I probably would say that Franklin is the number 1 for that job. Bieniemy actually said that he'd really like to continue to focus on the offense with the Chiefs. Marshall with Lemieux's not starting. I saw that. So Wilson looked good later on. Yep. And Matt Jr. At least the Jets are not the Jaguars.
That's true.
Yeah, thank you guys all for the comments.
I will say that I could see Urban actually leaving though. Just the way that
I could too.
From kind of the reports that you hear that he's kind of a little bit of a pusher. He was depressed after preseason losses. Telling guys to hydrate and like stuff like that like professionals should know how to take care of their bodies. They should know that. They come into camps and into games prepared. So I could see him kind of wearing out his welcome with some of these players. Maybe the front office, kind of sees that, and maybe he sees kind of like the writing on the door. I mean, I think that would be the best case scenario for the Jags personally. Him leaving as soon as possible.
So it's good for the Jags, right? But how does that affect Urban's career? I mean, if you think about it, right, that's not a good look. Like Saban has that stain on his record that he couldn't hack it in the NFL. Bobby Petrino, same thing. He could not hack it in the NFL. And I know that these guys are better college coaches, and that's just the way they are, right? But if you leave midseason, that's real bad. Like you are.
So I don't think he would leave midseason. I think USC would wait. You might as well wait until the end of the NFL season to see what happens.
Yep.
And honestly, I mean, when I think of Saban, I don't think of him not cutting in the NFL. I think of however many national championships he has. Same with Urban. I think of him as still as the great college coach that he is.
Yeah.
Him just trying to make it into the NFL. So I don't think it matters legacy wise if he just had a cup of coffee in the NFL, especially when he's making millions of dollars and winning championships. But
no, we'll see what happens. It'll be fun. So let's just do some previews and we can talk about the games as they go.
Yep.
So obviously, 1 p.m. game, we talked about the Patriots and the Jets. You also have Denver at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have the Broncos,
crushing.
Well, not crushing, but they're going to spank them around, especially that defense. Obviously
their Urban Meyer looking good.
Era. Yeah, he threw 2 touchdowns against the Giants. The second highest completion percentage in the NFL in week 1 at 77.8. Carlos Hyde, James Robinson, they need that running game to get a little better. Still, it's home opener for Trevor Lawrence, and we'll see if he delivers a memorable moment. But, I got the Broncos. You have anything else on these two teams?
No, I mean, just that the Broncos, I think, are going to crush them still. I think the Broncos are sneaky good, just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I think they're sneaky a better team than what people are making them out.
They have a legit top 5 defense. When guys like Von Miller and Bradley Chubb are at their best, their linebackers get uphill real fast. Their safeties are really good. Simmons is one of the better ones in the NFL. The cornerback situation, I know it's not biggest names, but they have guys that play. So that defense is it's legit.
Yeah.
You want to go the next 1 p.m.?
Sorry, I got a little thrown off there. Next one, we got Buffalo at Miami. I think this is actually going to be a big test for the AFC East. Obviously, the Bills being upset by the Steelers last week. I mean, that game offensively, that looked like a Big Ten game with the amount of punts and just no points. I know
that the Bills can't be worried, but that's a tough one, and I know Steelers defense is good, and Josh Allen was under constant pressure and stuff, but this is the the second guy for the MVP last year, the runner-up. I mean, you got to have more from your quarterback in that instance. I know he had 270 passing yards, the 1 touchdown, 44 rushing, but I think you need more, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree. I think another takeaway that I took from that game was the running back Devin Singletary actually being used. I think Zach Moss was scratched, if I remember correctly. Yeah, which is crazy because I mean that was a committee for how many years now? 2 or 3. So they have a clear-cut running back now. I think the Dolphins. The Steelers should have won that, or not Steelers. The Patriots should have won that game against the Dolphins, except for the turnover. It was nice to see Jalen Waddle have his first career touchdown. I think they were saying that he scored. I'm thinking of the other rookie from Alabama that had the touchdown.
Devonta Smith.
It was pretty much, it was in the exact same spot as he when he caught the championship touchdown. But Tua, for me, for the Dolphins, I don't think he was as impressive. He had an interception, a touchdown. He had another rushing touchdown. I still think there's more to be seen from him to convince me that he's going to be longevity-wise, the Dolphins quarterback. I
really think they're going to go for Deshaun Watson if his legal troubles aren't an issue.
No, I mean, I think this is going to be a game of can the Dolphins stop the Bills? It's going to come down to that.
They got the blueprint. Yeah. They saw what the Steelers did to them.
Yeah. Next game, we'll go 49ers and at the Eagles.
Yep.
Battle of the 1-0 teams here.
There's not many.
San Fran being a hopeful Super Bowl contender. They had Brent Ayuk out last week, or actually, no, it wasn't out last week, but he was nowhere to be found. We'll see if he can get in the mix, help out Debo and George Kittle. If they can kind of create some more mismatches. The Eagles looked, pretty good rushing
Rushing
wise
the ball.
week one, 173 yards. We'll see, what happens there. I think the 49ers defensively and offensively are just better than the Eagles. The Eagles beat up on a inferior Falcons team. Yeah.
But their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, got a lot of flack this offseason. They didn't think he was the right guy. They might look to add another guy. They bring in Gardner Minshew. But 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. He ran the ball pretty well. And then the other side, we talked about the Mostert injury, but Elijah Mitchell comes in, 19 carries, 104 yards of the touchdown. He looked really good. He'll be their starting back until Trey Sermon, starts to, become the lead there. But he was a healthy scratch too, which was pretty shocking.
So apparently Shanahan only likes to have 3 running backs, and that third running back being able to do special teams. So that's why Trey Sermon didn't dress, which is crazy. And I'm hearing that Trey Sermon actually might not dress again. They just picked up somebody off of waivers that's a special teams guy. So Trey Sermon might not dress again, apparently. So we'll see what happens there. It's crazy for an undrafted rookie and Elijah Mitchell to beat out Trey Sermon, who everybody thought was going to be the number 2 and take over that backfield eventually. But it just kind of shows you that you're not guaranteed. On the Hurts point though, I do think that Falcons team, that defense is not good. I want to see what he does first against the 49ers, defense and better defenses, just to see if he's actually more legit. But
all right, so we'll go a little quicker just because we're going to keep this podcast short. I know we have football coming up, so everyone wants to get to it. But Rams at Colts, I think this is one of my more favorite games to watch. I know that Carson, was a little underwhelming. Colts dominated time of possession in week 1, but simply just couldn't finish off drives. Stafford, awesome debut for the Rams. I think with 400 yards, he threw like 3 touchdowns. He was fantastic. Rams have been a 500 team on the road the last 2 years. I'm going to take the Rams in this one. I think that Colts defense is legit, but I think the Rams take this. They're minus 4.5. I'd actually take the minus points, and I'd take them. I think they win probably about touchdown.
I'd agree, and I also think Matthew Stafford is going to be the MVP now.
Ooh, hot take. All right. Raiders, Steelers. Obviously, Raiders coming up. Both teams coming off a big win. I don't think the Raiders are as good. I know they silenced some critics with a good victory against banged up Ravens team, but Steelers with a big victory against Buffalo. Short week. Najee Harris needs to be better. T.J. Watt is going to be a beast. I'm going to take the Steelers.
Yeah, I'd agree. And just the point for Najee Harris, over just from rookie running backs in general, I feel like it takes some time for them to get some steam.
Yep.
So, it'll be interesting to see kind of at the end of the year how Najee Harris is. I wouldn't put much stock into kind of this first half of the season.
Now I was going to say there's let's say 6 or 7 legit 3 down backs, right? You got McCaffrey, you got Dalvin Cook, you got Zeke, you got Kamara, Henry, but not even 3 down. Henry is more of just, he can just, they don't have to worry about the 3rd down because he rushes for 10 yards each freaking scamper. But, I'd say there's only about six of those guys, and Najee Harris is going to be one of them. In Alabama, he can catch the ball. He was a great 3rd down back. He'll get there. And like I said, I think he's the best back that Mike Tomlin will have ever coached. So that's a lot of praise.
Bengals
and Bears.
At Bears. Yeah.
Yep.
Bengals coming off that last second win in overtime against the Vikings last week.
That game was crazy. That game was crazy.
So an interesting stat that I saw was that's the first time that a team has tied the game in going into overtime. Yeah, the last second, and for a team to win in the last second in overtime.
Yeah, That's pretty
So
crazy. Yeah,
pretty cool.
The losing team ties it at the start of at the end of the regular uh, time, and then the winning team wins it obviously in overtime with no time left. That's pretty impressive.
It's pretty cool.
But Joe Burrow looked pretty good, right? And
yeah,
I mean, Jamar Chase was a beast, and
no catching problems.
Immediately, I think I heard someone saying that they just thought it was a joke, and that he was just doing this on purpose the entire time to make everybody kind of feel like they had screwed around. Andy Dalton, we'll see how he and the Bears do. Justin Fields looked good. You got to just let Justin Fields play. I mean, I like Andy Dalton. He's a solid quarterback, but this kid looks so much fun. He had a touchdown run, 3 yards. He made it look, electric. He had 2 passes. You got to play the kid.
Yeah, I mean, I get what Nagy is saying in that they're trying to prepare him and they don't want to all this stuff. But
if he beats out the competition, like if he plays better than him, you got to give him the job.
Oh, I agree 100%. He gives that team so much more confidence, so much more life. He gives that offense so much more life. What he can do with his legs, from the little that we've seen, looks impressive.
Yeah,
I kind of wish the Jets picked him.
Yeah,
maybe right now.
I don't know. I'm going to give Zach Wilson a couple of years. I have to just.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
I think he is a little more talented, but yeah, I mean, Justin Fields, right? Playing at Ohio State, he knows the game a little better. He's played higher caliber games. I do think his first 2 years will be better than Zach Wilson's, but I think in the long term, Zach takes it. But yeah, I mean, that's him and all 5 of them, right? I could see Mac Jones being the best out of this class. I think every single quarterback that was taken the first round in this draft has a legit chance to be the top guy in that class.
Yeah,
it's just and I know that's
crazy.
Anyone could be the best, but I really just think that each guy has the ability to do something that all the other guys don't, and it's cool to see. This might be the best quarterback class to come out ever, like since the Marino class. Like it could be that good.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see in a few years. I actually kind of like the Bengals. I think that that Bears defense is a little shaky.
I'm taking them.
They've been so stout, but yeah, I'm gonna put the Bengals on that one. Texans at the Browns. I mean, we kind of touched upon the Texans against the Jaguars last week with Tyrod Taylor's dominant performance. Ingram coming out of nowhere. They're a professional team, but I don't think they have a chance against the Browns. Baker, I thought was a perfect game manager last week. He played well. The interception looked like he was throwing it out of bounds. That's what people are saying. He was trying to throw it out of bounds, which I can definitely see that. He didn't take a risk all game long. So I think the Browns, that was a good test for them. They should have won that game if it wasn't for a muff punt.
Yeah.
I think they are heavy favorites.
Scottish Hammer.
Yeah.
That guy, I feel you got to feel bad for him. It's his first time punting all day, and all of a sudden he fumbles it, and he tried to run it instead of just trying to boot.
Yeah.
But, I think the offense kind of lost a little bit, and Baker looks better without OBJ, and it's not a good thing to say for such a talented wide receiver.
Yeah. But I mean, OBJ brings so much to that table. Saints, Panthers. Saints dominant performance against the Packers.
Oh my God, Jameis Winston.
4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Five
crazy.
Touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 150 yards. That is, high percentage offense. Built around Alvin Kamara. What is it? Peyton was saying that his quarterbacks don't throw interceptions, and Jameis obviously throws a lot of interceptions. So it was who was going to break, and obviously Jameis broke. He maybe got his LASIK. Maybe LASIK really worked for him, but
Panthers.
They're going to force turnovers.
The Panthers. Had a good game against the Jets. Didn't finish strong. We'll see what Sam Darnold does. Still. They have weapons there, but that Saint defense is great, and that offense is looking good even without their number one wide receiver. So I have the Saints on that one. I'm sure you do too. Vikings, Cardinals.
Man.
Vikings, obviously, that tough overtime loss. Cardinals with that monster of a win against the Titans.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones, 4 sacks. I think he had, or no, 5 sacks. 4 or 5
5
sacks.
5 sacks. J.J. Watt taking double teams. Yeah.
Monster game.
Dalvin Cook needs to be better for Minnesota.
Yeah. And I think Kirk Cousins does too. I know he had great stats against the Bengals, but you got to win some games. I think the Cardinals continue. Yeah, Kyler looking great. Rondell Moore looking great. DJ Hopkins, Christian Kirk, all those wide receivers look great. Didn't really need the running, but Chase Edmonds and even James Conner didn't look bad when they were in running the ball or taking receptions. It's
funny. No, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
I say that NFC West, man. Could all 4 make it in?
They could. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Legit. Kyler Murray, though, I was going to say just quickly, I didn't think he would be this good, and I didn't think he would be a very good quarterback in general, but just watching him, he is
crazy. He is a human joystick. It looks like we lost Billy with the connection there, which is unfortunate. So I'm going solo here, it looks like.
No, I got you back.
Oh.
I got your back.
Yeah. I guess Billy had to get to
Billy,
hockey. Just cutting out live. No, I think he just cut out. The Kyler Murray human joystick was very impressive. I didn't think he'd be, as kind of Billy was saying, as good of a quarterback, in the NFL. But I think he continues to impress. And Cliff Kingsbury, putting up a pretty good, game, coaching wise. What else were you say about Kyler?
No, just he's fun to watch, and he's just you can roll out, he can make a pass, he can stop on a dime, shed a blocker, and then throw another pass. It's crazy.
Yeah. You want to do the Falcons Bucks?
Yeah. So quickly, we'll do the last 4 games. Falcons Bucks. Buccaneers just going to take it. I mean, Tom Brady, Atlanta jokes. He was awesome. 400 yards passing almost.
Atlanta maybe number 1 pick.
Yeah, they might be. Buccaneers take this one. Tennessee Titans, Seattle Seahawks. Titans looked bad in that loss. They were getting run over on the offensive line. Russell Wilson, defense was shaky, but he was awesome. Both teams lined up in the passing game. I think Seattle, though, takes this one. And if you have anything, step in, please.
No.
Cowboys at Chargers. The Chargers won on the road in the opener, and they have a chance to drop Dallas to 2-0. Or, sorry, 0-2. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's one of the more one of the favorites for eventual MVPs. But Dak Prescott keeps that Dallas offense moving. He was really good. I'm going Chargers though.
I think it's gonna be the Cowboys. I don't think Herbert will be able to keep up with Dak and that offense.
Oh, I think both offenses are lethal. I think it's gonna be a shootout.
I think Dallas just has a little bit more firepower personally, but we'll see.
That Monday night game, we'll save Sunday night for right now, but that Monday night game, Detroit at Green Bay, this is going to be a dud. The Packers are going to smoke them because they had such a bad game in week 1. I could see Aaron Jones going off. I could see Rodgers and Devonta Adams going off. I don't think that's going to be a contest. I think they're 11.5-point favorites. I would take the over on points too on this one.
Yeah.
All right, that Sunday night game, a lot of fun. Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens. Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Chiefs won the last 2 meetings at Baltimore by double digits. Lamar Jackson's 0-3 in 3 starts against Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs are led by an average of 14 points at halftime in those games. I think Baltimore does keep it closer, but Mahomes is just the Chiefs are just too tough. But it's gonna be fun. It's always fun watching the primetime quarterbacks.
I said, did you see that throw that he had to Tyreek Hill for that touchdown? That was insane.
Disgusting.
Just
Disgusting.
Cross body.
Yeah.
Great touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking about Kyler Murray and human joystick. I mean, this guy is just as fun to watch. Big thing I think for me, at least with the Ravens, if they're going to go in, and be contenders is again with similar to Daniel Jones, Lamar Jackson fumbles the ball. So I think that's something that he's got to be able to kind of tighten up, especially if he's scrambling. But I do agree. I think Baltimore keeps it close, but the Chiefs, will win this one.
Not bad.
All right, want to do some quick trivia?
Yeah, quick trivia, and we'll call it quits.
All right, so we had last weekend we had Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, and Jalen Waddle, all rookies, scoring their first touchdown week 1. Who has the most week 1 touchdowns as a rookie? First game.
The most week 1 touchdowns? Calvin Johnson?
No, so it's there's a couple, but I'll give you some highlights. Marquise Brown had 2. Kenny Galladay with 2.
Yep.
Randy Moss with 2.
I should have said Randy.
Who else we got here? Whole bunch of others. There's like 4, like 6 or 7 others that have touchdowns, but
not bad. 2 touchdowns.
Ron
That's
Dane.
Sam. Yeah, Ron Dane.
Ron Dane.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. Well,
thank you for everybody for tuning in. This is Football Primetime.